Hey, folks, and welcome to the 9 o'clock live. And special thanks to all the folks who have been calling me and messaging me and asking me questions about how to get involved. I guess folks will watch the live and they find it useful. I don't know. I'm happy to entertain all of your questions, though, and I certainly invite people to contact me. So I imagine this will be a short one, and I'm going to go watch some of it perhaps. Last night, Bernie Sanders and Michelle Obama kind of stole the show. And tonight, I guess there's some sort of lineup. I don't really know. Honestly, I didn't watch it last night. And generally speaking, I don't care for the pomp and pageantry less. Regardless, there are a couple of things just to mention, like things that happened. So we're just going to cover those quickly, and then we can all go back to the DNC. Or if you're watching this, you probably weren't interested in that in the first place, but whatever. Anyway, first and foremost, just so that people know, I'm sure it isn't just about ballots in November. It's also about people are expecting to receive in the mail. It's about fees, late payments. It's pretty mindful. Stop all of these. And just remember that these things this happens all the time in government, mind you. It certainly wouldn't be unique to the Trump administration. So as long as DeJoy is publicly stating that he's keeping a close consternation and confusion, very, very tight. I would honestly recommend all national organizing. Some of that money from, and honestly, programs, but just want you to do per se, but I plan to do, and people give, and then I use it they're free to not give me money again in the future. I just don't think that it's necessarily wrong things that I've said in these lives. I probably wouldn't contradict any, because if this were to be a real endorsement, me landlords answer. We're jumping out to watch the convention. Who's watching this is Manhattan, but the wide position, which means that it is a constituency. Therefore, it's an important stepping stone to other larger offices and to organizations or programs within the borough. So in that regard, who becomes borough president is important for determining the future political ecosystem and leadership for our city. For example, Borough President Eric Adams is running for mayor, and he's got a pretty good shot at it because he happens to represent a very large county or borough, which has a lot of voters in it. He has obviously his own political pros and cons, but having been borough president is a part of what makes somebody viable for even higher offices. So Brad Hoylman, who happens to be my state senator actually, overlaps with basically all of Assembly District 66 and a couple of other assembly districts, has entered the race for borough president in 2021. Now, Brad Hoylman, I think, is a phenomenal state senator. He's had some of my favorite pieces of legislation, including the Trump Act, which is the tax returns universally released program, which basically will require people to release their tax returns to be on the ballot for president in New York State. He also authored the pied-à-terre tax. He's got a lot of really great pieces of legislation, some of which have yet to pass, but we'll see what happens in the next, makes it a three-way race, maybe a four-way race. I can't remember if Helen Rosenthal is still in it. No, not Helen Rosenthal. Certainly Ben Kallos is a councilman from the Upper East Side, and Mark Levine pretty openly for the last couple of months. So we'll see what happens. I'd say that Brad Hoylman, a couple of just things, of course, their fundraise, and the other is their base of voters. And so both Mark Levine and Ben Kallos, and honestly, Linda, a city council member, represents about 160 state assembly member, which is what Linda Rosenthal is, represents about 140,000 people. A state senator represents about 330,000 people. So in that regard, in theory, Brad starts off with an advantage, having had direct touches as a politician with almost twice the number of people as Mark, Linda, and Ben. Additionally, a constituency that's become very involved in giving of political activity, matching funds. Oh, no, I'm sorry. This is a city race, so there are matching funds. Brad has a pretty good shot in a couple of months. So they have advantage, and in terms of reaching, which will drive campaigns. So by that I mean endorsements and organizers and activists who have already committed to supporting them. So this budget. Oh well. One of the things I'm always reminded of, and I took a class on urban politics in my senior year for Detroit, was that as people left it, the infrastructure costs stayed constant while the tax base decreased. That's why these tax matters are so absolutely critical, because you see, Detroit was a city of about 2 million. After its decline, it has now under 1 million people. However, it has the size about in terms of what New York might learn from the experience of another city that experienced tremendous decline. And certainly that's not where I want New York to go, or necessarily where I think New York's going to end up. But it is something to plan for and understand how these things work, so that we don't fall into a trap whereby a temporarily declining 50th anniversary of women's, like 18. So yeah, I thought there was yes, there is, everybody who tuned in, and I'll see you